My Chicago Cubs are 6-4 since we last joined you. We took a little time off for some personal things. A lot of life happening these days. But the Cubs have, surprisingly done quite well to start this season, despite a lot of really shitty things happening to them from the start. I mean, of course, losing their ace 5 innings into the season is certainly not good. Having Kyle Hendricks be as washed up as he looks, he's got 4 starts. I think he's got a 12 ERA, a whip over 2. He does not look like a major league pitcher anymore. He looked a little better this weekend. 4 innings, 4 earned runs, but that's an improvement over how he's looked previously. That's been brutal. You had Jamison Tyone out, who actually returned this weekend, which is a positive. I'll talk about in a bit. But an underrated injury that I don't think I've mentioned on the podcast, at least, is Julian Merriweather from the stalwart of the bullpen. Has a stress fracture in his upper back. I think it's like a rib bone fractured in his back.
Hmm.
The good news, like I first saw it reported as a shoulder injury, which freaks me out because I think shoulder injuries for pitchers are far more detrimental to a pitcher's career than even an elbow injury at this point. So it's not really like a rotator cuff or anything like that. It's a broken rib, but it's such an unusual injury. You don't know what the recovery time right now. They're saying 2 months, but that's put extra stress on the bullpen. And clearly Adbert Alzolay is not able to pick up the slack because he's already blown 4 saves this season, giving up 4 home runs in those blown saves. That is way too much. It's kind of interesting with him because I feel like he was kind of thrown into the closer's role last year with David Ross, kind of by necessity, and it worked out really well for most of the season last year. He kind of grew into the role and was pretty dominant, and that is not the case now. So I kind of don't know what they're going to do with that moving forward. You could argue Seiya Suzuki has been the early MVP of the Cubs until he pulled another oblique, much like he did last season. I think he pulled his right oblique this year versus his left last year, whatever. He was out 6 weeks last year with this injury. Hopefully it's only 6 weeks this time, but obliques are typically just a tough injury to come back from. You don't really know when it's healed properly, and just takes forever. And it's really unfortunate with Suzuki because he had 18 hits in 15 games. He had 3 home runs. OPS, I had it written down, 141 OPS plus. In that time, he was clearly their best offensive producer. Yet the Cubs are in second place still. They're 2 games behind Milwaukee, who's actually surprisingly in first place. Again, if Alzolay had just been average as a closer, not blowing 4 saves, maybe only blew 2 saves, they'd be 15-7 right now and tied for the lead. So it's kind of amazing what they've done so far. You worry though that they're kind of on borrowed time as they're navigating through all these injuries. It's just more innings for other parts of the bullpen that have do not need any more stress on them as they are already getting, as we saw them collapse in September last year. They're skating by now, but you wonder how long that can last. They've also, it's been a tough schedule. They just got off a West Coast road trip. They came through it with a winning record. You got to appreciate that. So I kind of don't know what to make of this Cubs team. I think it's frustrating. They came off a very frustrating series against Miami this weekend, which they should have easily taken care of, as they're probably the second worst team in Major League Baseball. But
Word Hole Media.